let's crush. It's time. So here's the deal. We are here to learn how to be high performers at the end of the school year, okay? If you're feeling a little bit of stress right now at the end of the year, I want you to type in the chat, I'm feeling it. You're feeling a little bit of stress at the end of the year. You're in college, you're in high school, a little stressed, a little overwhelmed, just a wee bit. That's probably why you engaged with this workshop, right? You saw it and you're like, whoa, how did he know this is what I'm going through? How did he know? He's a wizard. I'll tell you how, because I've been there. I've done that. And we're going to learn how to overcome it. So don't worry. I got you. I got you. All right. Cool. So I want you dialed in. I want you to have a notepad and pen ready to go. Dialed in. High performers are dialed in. Now let's keep going in the chat. I want to read the room a little bit. I want to know who's here. Okay. How many years have you been in the marching activity? This is a special workshop just for marching people. This is exciting stuff. All right. We probably got some directors in here that have been in here quite a bit. Katie got me beat. Let's go. All right. Yeah. Awesome. Let's see. I'm going to type in. It's going to be 25 for me. Okay. Scott. I think Scott and Leah should be running this one. Awesome. All right. Cool. Cool. Next question. Are you staff or performer? Go ahead and just write your role. We got staff or performer. Got a wide variety of folks in the crowd. Want to make sure I know who I'm talking to. All right. Cool. Good. Scott, I know, man. I wish I was still back there too. You know, and the cool thing is that this is going to be super applicable for everybody. So we're going to dig in. Awesome. Thanks for participating. Excuse me. So I'm going to tell you all a little bit about me so you know who is talking to you, and then we're going to dig in. So my name is Rob Stein. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a multi-business owner, mindset leadership coach, composer, arranger, and clinician, realtor, and bodybuilder. So these are all the companies that I own. Give you a little bit of a brief overview, okay? I'm also the first ever DCI mindset coach for Carolina Crown, and I applaud Crown for taking the initiative to be on the forefront of the activity. I know we got some of my Crown people in here tonight. Thanks for the support, and thank you for being here. So I am a musician by nature, okay? I got my bachelor's degree in trumpet performance and a master's in music education. So trumpet is my instrument, and I went to University of the Arts in Philadelphia for both of those degrees. Now, I also own Standing O Marching. I compose and arrange music for ultra-competitive bands. I've clinicked and provided music for over 400 bands and drum corps over the course of my career so far. This is what I love, gang. Even though I own multiple businesses, some in music, some not, marching is my passion. I'm telling you, I eat, sleep, live, breathe, absolutely love this sport. It's the best sport in the world. Anyone that tells you otherwise, going to have to answer to this guy. Okay. So I love working with schools and corps all over the country. I also write the halftime show for the Baltimore Ravens NFL team. They have a huge marching band. They perform my music during pregame and halftime. I'm also a natural competitive bodybuilder. Natural meaning strictly tested, drug tested, polygraph tested, au naturel. Figured I'd get my trumpet in there with a little photo shoot after the show. Now I coach in all sorts of industries. I do a lot of virtual and live sessions in my studio right here, that bottom left corner. We're live in my studio right now. I own a real estate company. I have a podcast, Impossible to Fail. Some of you recognize Kevin Shaw there, who's a very good friend of mine, who I featured on the podcast. You can check out at robstein.tv or listen to the Impossible to Fail podcast, anywhere podcasts are available. I really just love what I do. I love motivating and teaching people that want to learn. And that's the best part about being a teacher, and specifically being a business owner, is I can choose who I get to teach. And these are people that really want to be here. There's no more fulfilling thing for me than teaching people that want to be here. And so, for example, all of you that are here right now, I'm loving this because you chose to be here. You're here on purpose. And that is exactly who I want to help. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory, okay? Because I wasn't born with a Tesla or a six-pack or multiple businesses. I used to be a middle school music teacher. That's me right there. back when I had a lot of hair, and I was doing the Halloween parade at that time in Clinton, New Jersey, teaching middle school band. And are there any like music ed majors, future music teachers in the chat? Go ahead and type in if that's you. Current music ed majors, band directors. You're going to be a music teacher, a teacher of any kind. Let's go. Awesome. That's so cool. I absolutely love it. That's great. There are so many schools that are really, really fantastic. And I have so many teacher friends, and I absolutely love it. Now, for me, I'll tell you, my school that I was at, it just wasn't a great environment. They really didn't prioritize anything I did. They kept tying my hands behind my back. And I knew the day I had to leave was when the principal said, you know, Mr. Stein, I'm not saying what you do isn't important, but I need you to cancel your 1 o'clock saxophone lessons and go do lunch duty. So at that point, I was like, this ain't the school for me. But I knew I wanted to keep teaching, and I knew I really wanted to do standing on marching full time. And so I started working towards that heavily. Now, again, I also wasn't born in shape. I used to be quite out of shape, in fact. And that before picture, you know, I didn't get the profile picture. Honestly, gang, I was quite ashamed of how I looked at the time. I'd gained a lot of weight. I was at a rough point in my life, but I took control. And through the right education and massive action and consistency and discipline, so many of the qualities that we need in the marching activity, right? I was able to get fit, and I love the lifestyle. The healthy lifestyle is a really important part of my life now. Now, this bottom right picture, this is the day I left school for the last time to be able to build Standing O Marching full time. It took 8 years to do, but I built that business up to bring in about $250,000 a year of revenue. And I went to run my business full time. And I'm still doing that, plus all the other things that I showed you. So that's me. Let's get started. Now, bit of a mindset question right off the bat. So turn your minds on, and let's go ahead and get started. Now, we have some hands raised. So I want you to know, if you have a hand raised, we are going to get to some good Q&A later in the session. So if you have a question, I want you to save it, because we're going to do open Q&A. I'm going to answer those questions as long as y'all are here. Okay? Promise. Now, let's keep it going. Oh, you're raising your hands from the slide. I get it. So who's taking time out of their day or night to be here? So if you were raising your hand virtually, go ahead and raise it again. Thank you very much. You can go to reactions and raise your hand. Who's taking time out of your day or night to be here? I was like, man, people got a lot of questions. Okay. All right. Good amount of people. Now, some of y'all that have attended my training before might know the answer to this one already. Okay, cool. Well, listen, I'm going to give you a bit of a mindset shift. This is going to be the first of many that you're going to have tonight. So I want you to dial in. I want you to look at me straight in my virtual eyes and hear me when I tell you this, okay? You are not taking time out of your day or night to be here. You are investing time in your life to be here. This is not taking time out of anything. If you were to sit down right now and watch Netflix, at that point, I'd say you'd be taking time out of your day. If you were mindlessly scrolling on social, which you know you do, I would say you're taking time out of your day, out of your development, out of your success. Let me tell you something. By being here, you are in the elite. By being here, you have already proven that you have a lot of aspects of being a high performer. Because what high performers do in any industry, marching on the field, off the field, doesn't matter. They invest time, money, resources in education, in coaching, in furthering themselves, in things that matter to achieve their goals. You have a goal, if you're here, of being incredible. You have a goal. You have high standards of excellence. You have discipline. You have a desire to be part of something great, right? And this right now is building you towards that. It's getting you closer to that. You are doing more personal development than anyone else in the activity right now. So you are not taking time out of your day or night. You are investing time in your life. And that is how you need to start looking at education, at training, at coaching, at going on YouTube and instead of looking at cats playing piano, right? Look at mindset stuff. Go to my YouTube channel at robstein.tv and soak in the content. Go to Grant Cardone. Go to Ed Milet, right? Go to people that are going to pour into you and make you better, that you aren't literally wasting time and wasting life. So by being here, I applaud you for not taking time out of your day, but investing time into the positive aspects of your life. Good for you. Let's go. Now, I want you to type in the chat. This is a really important question. What is your why? Why are you here? Why are you in this activity? Why are you doing all of the things that you're doing? Because you're probably not just doing band, right? You're doing a lot. You got a lot going on in your life. You have high standards. So type in the chat. I want to better my chances of a good future. Awesome. To be the best version of myself. I'm always looking ways to teach better, to better myself, to be a better friend, a better leader, to be the best of the best. Let's go, John Grayson. I want to have some life-changing impact on my students that my instructors had on me. Henry, that's an awesome answer. I want to be happy. All right, Ethan. It gives me purpose. We got to have purpose. To be the best and better myself. I got to stand up. I'm getting so pumped, right? This activity has defined my life. Arwen, I could not agree more. To give others the same purpose this activity has given me. Will, we are resonating on the same frequency. My passion is music, and I want to be a better leader, says Kaylee. Teresa says, I want to further the kids in the program and give them a chance in the big leagues. Let's go, Teresa. Come on, let's do it together. To apply these skills outside of band for Cody and improving to be the best. George says to understand how improving works and to pass that information down. Let's go. Pass it forward. Pass it on. Anthony, not only to enjoy making music, but I was impacted incredibly positively by my teachers, and I want to be that for my future students. Anthony, that's exactly why I got in there. My past years, I've had people that drove me to strive, to be a better version of myself, to learn and grow with others. Man, I'm tingling right now. This is so awesome. This is so awesome. I'll tell you why I'm here, okay? And a lot of you are going to resonate with this looking at your answers. Now, when I joined marching band in high school, see, I was like lukewarm towards music. I had a trumpet. My dad played trumpet, so we had it in the attic. It was free, so that's why I started playing trumpet. And I didn't really care about it, honestly, until I got into marching band. And I had incredible instructor. His name was George Cologne. I have a picture right up there. And I was really, you may not believe me, but I was really quite shy. And I was very scared to go into high school because we had a huge high school. And George really got me out of my shell. He poured into the band. He's the kind of guy that everyone just loved right away. He became my mentor and a very dear friend. And he impacted my life in such a huge way. And I know for sure I would not be here being able to pass it forward to all of you if it wasn't for him. And that is my purpose. I want to be what George was for me, for as many people as possible. And I'm blessed and grateful and humbled that literally over the course of my 25 years in the activity and over the 400 ensembles I've worked with, literally tens of thousands of students I've been able to help. And I'm just getting started. See, I believe we find our purpose in life serving the person that we used to be. And I want to serve the student, the young adult that I used to be. I want to serve the band director that I used to be. And so that is my mission. And that is why we're here. And we're going to circle back to this why, because you have to know your why. Ultimately, gang, you got to own it. You got to own your why. Do not hesitate to own the fact that you are committed to excellence, that Anthony, you want to do it because you refuse to live a life without the family and strength you find in the activity, to apply the skills, to further the kids in the program, to be passionate, right? To honor God by serving my students. Amen, Katie, let's go. Absolutely right. Want to give the kids a place to connect. That's right. That's right, Malia. But here's the thing, gang. You need the blueprint. A lot of you, some of you are in garden here, right? When you learn how to spin your instrument, didn't you get coaching from somebody? Didn't a teacher teach you that? For the musicians, didn't you get a teacher? Don't you have a teacher that teaches you how to do that? Yeah, of course you do. And it would be nonsensical to think otherwise, right? I'm a trumpet player. I'm a professional trumpet player. Didn't I have teachers that taught me how to play trumpet? Yes. And if I want to be a really, really, really good trumpet player, like the professional level, like when I marched Blue Devils on upper lead trumpet, right? Didn't I need to have incredible teachers so that I could get to an incredible level? Yes. So why is it that people have such a disconnect with mindset coaching? You want to learn how to be incredible up here, then you need someone to teach you how to do it. And that's exactly what we're going to cover an overview of tonight. And I'm telling you, it's just the tip of the iceberg. I could literally talk for days on this topic, but we got an hour. We're here. This is literally the first ever mindset coaching mass webinar. Y'all are making history tonight, so give it up for yourselves, okay? To push through the end of the school year like a champion. We're going to help you accomplish your why. I want you to push to prepare for a great summer because we got marching band and drum corps people in here, staff and members in here. I'm going to teach you how to conquer feeling stressed and overwhelmed while balancing your responsibilities. And I'm going to teach you techniques you can start using literally today by the time we're done with this call on and off the field. And you're also going to have an opportunity at the end to learn how we can keep going with your program, both virtually and in person. Now, first thing we need to address is what is mindset coaching? What is mindset coaching? Again, we've talked about the fact that, right, Crown, first corps ever to hire a mindset coach. And literally tens of thousands of people, when they put the post out, heard about it right away. And a lot of people were really enthused. And there were a lot of people that said, this is awesome. What's mindset coaching? So I'm going to tell you, okay? Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson once said that the mind, once stretched by a new idea, never returns to its original dimensions. Think about that. Once you learn something new, once you learn a new concept, you can't unlearn it. Once you see something, you can't unsee it, right? So my job, one of my jobs as a mindset coach is to teach you how to think differently. Because once I expose you to a new idea, a new way of thinking, that's when things really start happening. Here's a definition I came up with. It's not in the dictionary. It's just what I came up with. Mindset coaching, feel free to take screenshots of this, pictures of this, teaches you the habits and the mindset of the ultra successful high performer. By learning and then, more importantly, implementing what you're going to learn here, you will change your actions, which will lead to a world of new results and success that you didn't know how to access previously. And as your mindset continues to evolve, your actions and results will evolve, which will feed your mindset and continue in a never-ending cycle. You see, here's the thing. When you look at someone that you're just like, you know, they're just crushing it. You look at like Elon Musk, right? Oprah, Grant Cardone, and you're like, man, these people just have something. They got some like special kind of X factor that they're blessed with, and I'm not. Have you ever thought that? Go ahead and just type yes in the chat if you've ever seen someone accomplishing something so incredible that you just assume they must operate on some other level that you can't access. And let's be honest with each other, please. Yep. Everybody's on the same page. Okay. Now, first, I want to applaud you and thank you for participating. Everybody here, Arwen, Tommy, right? Cody, George, Emil, thank you. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I used to think that too, but here's the reality. When you think of that person that y'all typed yes to over here, the reality is, no, they are not blessed with some magic fairy dust or some X factor that you don't have. No, the truth is they just think differently than you do. They think differently than you do. Therefore, they take different actions that get them different results. Check this out. I want you to write, I agree in the chat. If I say your actions stem from your thoughts, your actions stem from your thoughts, I want you to type, I agree. Right? When you do something, because you have a thought and then you do it. Okay. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. Thank you again for participating, everybody. Okay, cool. So then the next question, and this is just a thought, you don't have to type in the chat, but the next question is, well, if your actions stem from your thoughts, which we're all on the same page about, then the question is, well, where do your thoughts come from? And the answer is your mindset. The way you condition yourself to think, which partly is the way you're brought up, but the majority of it is actually what you expose yourself to, what you expose your mind to, your eyes and your ears. That initiates your mindset. Your mindset initiates your thoughts, which leads to actions. Now, here's the thing. The results that you get from that action then lead to, again, back to your mindset. I'll illustrate another way. Now, here, little image I came up with, okay? Now, look at this. You have an idea. In this instance, let's say this is an idea that I teach you tonight. Through speed of implementation, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, you take action on this idea. It's a new idea you've never been exposed to. I'm going to teach you some stuff you haven't heard of tonight. You're going to take that and you're going to take action on it. Those ideas are going to lead to actions. Those actions are now going to lead to results you never got before. And then you're going to say, well, if I can do that and I can get these results, what else can I do? Maybe now I'm going to establish new goals because I got to this other goal. And then now you're going to have new ideas that lead to new actions, that lead to new results, that lead to new ideas, new actions, new results, ideas, action, results, blah, 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 blah. And it keeps going. And that's how you have this like never ending growth. And I'll tell you from experience, because if you would have told me when I was a middle school teacher, like 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, when I still lived in New Jersey and I quit teaching before I moved here, that I'd be doing what I'm doing now, living where I'm living, owning multiple businesses, right? Living this life and doing what I'm doing now. I'd be like, no way. That person is on another level and is blessed with something I'm not. If I 10 years ago saw myself 10 years right now, that's what I would think. But guess what? I'm the same dude. The thing is that when I got these goals of building businesses, of bodybuilding, of going from a music composer to a big time business owner, of starting a real estate company, I started hanging out with different people. I started hanging out with really high performing business owners. I started reading a lot of books on mindset. I started spending money going to conferences, learning from people that are accomplishing mind-blowing things. And guess what? The more I hang out with them, now I start having new ideas because I'm hanging out with these new people that are exposing me to new ideas. Then I start taking new actions that lead to results that I'm like, holy smokes, I never thought I could accomplish that. What else can I do now? Those lead to new ideas, blah, 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 blah. And here we are. And now I have new goals. So when you see someone like that and you go, man, how are they doing that? They're thinking differently than you are. And all you need to do is take the first step of changing your mindset by exposing yourself to people that have that ability, like myself, to teach you how to do that. And then you take new actions that lead to new results. And one of the most important things that I can teach you tonight about being a high performer is speed of implementation. Speed of implementation. Now, write this down. I define speed of implementation as the time between when the idea is planted and when you take action on it. That window of time, however long that is called speed of implementation. The faster your speed of implementation, I guarantee you with absolute certainty, the more successful you will be. Really successful people in any industry, no matter what it is, do things quickly. I have an idea. I know it's the right thing to do. Boom, I take action on it. I don't wait. How many of you type in the chat? I want you to type, that's me. If you've ever had an idea or there's something that you know is really good for you to do, but you delay doing it because you're stuck in like analysis paralysis. You're overanalyzing. Well, what if I do this? What if this goes wrong? What if I'm afraid to take action? I know I should do this thing, but I'm going to, right? Go ahead and type in the chat. Yep. Me. Yeah, that used to be me too. Yeah. And one of the things we talk about, because again, we only have an hour tonight. So I really thank you for participating. I really had to be very intentional about the type, because literally, right, I could do a 3-hour session and hit the tip of the iceberg. So if we engage in virtual or live coaching with your program later, we're going to talk about the 4 fears and why that hesitation even exists in the first place. And we can dig into that. But ultimately, it's some type of fear and hesitation, but you need to get over that and take action anyway. You just need to do it. You just need to do it. Now, I actually have broken down those 4 fears: fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, fear of sacrifice. I've broken down those fears already. You can see little hits on my Instagram channel, Crown is tagged in that as well. If you want to check out from the live session I did with them, or if you want to bring me into your group for a live or virtual setting, we're going to hit on those 4 fears. But speed of implementation is so important. And it is ultimately some type of fear that keeps you from taking action. But here's the thing. It is inevitable that you're not going to get what you want if you don't take action. Imagine this. Imagine, because I asked you earlier for a reason, what if you could do something and you knew success was inevitable? And there were a lot of cool answers here. Well, the reality is that even when success is inevitable, which I believe it is, if you do it right, you still have to start taking action. Even if success is inevitable, which again, I think it can be with the right framework, it's not going to happen by itself. If I want to get in shape, if I want to make $1 million, if I want to teach 10,000 people about mindset coaching, I can't just sit here in my office and do nothing. I still need to take action on it, right? I knew this workshop was going to be successful. I knew we'd have people showing up that were excited, and y'all showed up, right? I still had to schedule it. I still had to build it out. I still had to work with my marketing director to do all this stuff and build the landing pages and write all this stuff, right? I still had to take action on it. And I did it quickly. I decided to do this workshop a week ago, and here we are, right? I do not mess around. And so you need to get into the mindset that when you have the right idea and you know, and your gut's telling you it's the right idea, take action on it. Now, here's the 3 lessons we're going to cover today, okay? We're going to give you an overview, then we're going to break them down. Number 1, time blocking. Number 2, goal setting. And number 3, prioritizing sleep. Now, again, I want to stress that this is like a very, very, very broad overview because we have an hour together, and I thought to myself, what can I do that's going to help people, staff and students alike, right now, this time of year, an hour in and out, hot and heavy, what can we do? It's these 3 things. So let's dig in. Y'all ready? If you're ready to dig into these 3 things and learn how to stop being stressed, how to be in control, type "let's go" in the chat, because I want to know that y'all are ready. Because we've had a little appetizer, but it's time for the main course. It's time for the main course. Woo, I'm getting energy now. Look at all this. Let's go. Let's go. The more capital letters and the more O's you type. Raymond says, "Let us go." Raymond is very proper tonight. Let's go. Okay, cool. Let's go, Alexandro. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Thomas. Okay. Let's go. All right. So check it out. We're going to get into this stuff, but here's the thing. I'm going to do some myth busting for you. Now, I don't want you to take notes right now. You can take notes if you want to, but I really want you to just dial in and look at me, because I'm going to break something down that you may be very surprised to hear. So I want you to focus and listen up. A few minutes ago, I asked you to visualize a person that you view as like untouchable, right? They're just so successful. They're doing so much cool stuff. They must have something you don't. And we talked about why that's not true. But here's the myth. The myth is that you see these people and you imagine that they have no stress. And you imagine that they face no obstacles. And you imagine that they go through their day like ultimately fulfilled 24/7, always. No stress, no problems, smile on the face. You might follow me on Instagram and see me post a video at the gym at 5:30 every morning. And you might imagine that when my alarm goes off at 4:30 every day, I just hop out of bed and I go, it's 4:30 and I'm ready to work out. Right? I'll be honest with you. That's not reality. Now, there's a few reasons that you think it is reality. Number 1, social media. Oh boy. Social media is the leading cause of grit and delayed gratification shortage in this country today. I said it here tonight. Put it on the news. I'm saying it. You look at social media and people put what they want to put. Look at me in the fancy car. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, living my best life. Let's go. Look at all this amazing stuff I'm doing, right? And they took 3 hours to stage that one picture. Let me tell you something. People don't want to go on social media and look in the camera and go, I'm struggling right now. I don't know how I'm going to get through this day right now. I feel a 3,000-pound weight on my shoulders and I feel like I can't breathe right now. I do that sometimes. If you look back on my feed, you'll see some Facebook Lives where I'm in my office and I'm like, this is one of the hardest days of my professional life. I got this crazy big fire, but I'm going to get it done. I'm not enjoying myself right now because I try to be really transparent about what it's like to be a high-performing business owner. But the reality is everyone faces obstacles. I'll tell you from experience, okay? A lot of what I need to do each day, owning multiple businesses, coaching people, providing for my family, like seriously, a lot of what I do each day is not enjoyable. I don't enjoy doing it. There are times, many times when I'm in this studio, in this office, and I'm like, oh, so freaking tired. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed, this, that, and the other thing, right? This happened, this deal fell apart, this thing's going on, my kid's sick, right? Whatever's going on, and I still need to get it done. So everyone, even those people that you might idolize and you assume that they just go through the day like easy, that's not the case. The reality is that those people experience the same emotions you do. We're all human beings. I experience fear every day. I experience doubt, right? This is the first ever marching mindset webinar ever. And there was for sure some doubt, right? No one's going to come. People are going to think it's lame. Whatever. I do it anyway. Whoever shows up, let's go. I'm here to serve. The difference is that those people take action anyway, despite feeling the fear. Despite feeling fear of judgment, wondering how other people are going to react, despite taking on a new endeavor and fearing the unknown and doing it anyway, despite making huge sacrifices and exercising extreme delayed gratification to work hard now to get better later, just like we do in this activity. You spend all summer working on an 8 to 11-minute show to perform in a handful of times later. Right? My drum corps people in the house, right? I marched for DCI in 8 years. Right? You go for move-ins for a month, like 15-hour days for a month before you even do a show. Oh my gosh, right? Every single one of you can relate to that, right? There are times, let's be real, there are times you don't want to be on that rehearsal field, but you do it anyway. And then when you get to the reward, when you get to the show and the audience is going crazy and you're there with your friends and it's awesome, and if you're a competitive person, you do well competitively and you go, yeah, let's go. Like that's why you do it. So the point of this is saying that you don't and won't always need to be passionate about what you're doing, but you do need to be passionate about why you are doing it. Thank you, Teresa. Amen. You don't always need to be passionate about what you're doing, but you do need to be passionate about why you're doing it. So if I scroll up on the chat, oh, we are active tonight. I love it. And I asked, what is your why, right? What is your why? You don't always need to be passionate about what it is you're doing, but you do need to be passionate about why you're doing it. You need to be passionate, Serenity, to give you a purpose. Alex, to be the best and better yourself. Halia, to learn and grow as a person and leader, right? Reynal, when you're not feeling like doing the work, you're still going to do it because you want to become a better teacher for your students. Gabriel wants to improve his mental game, right? Alexandra wants to stop limiting himself. And so when you're not feeling it, you're going to do it anyway because that's what it takes to be great. You will face adversity. I face adversity every freaking day, man, but I push through it to get what I want because I'm passionate about why I do it. I'm passionate about pouring into people like you. I'm passionate about providing the best of quality of life that I can for my family, personally and financially. I'm passionate about winning, right? And so when I face that adversity, I still do it. Trust me, I'd say 80% of the time, when I wake up at 4:30, I don't feel like getting up and going to the gym, but I do it anyway. And then once I'm there, and especially when I'm done, I'm like, yeah, let's go. That was awesome. Right. But there is still adversity to be faced. And so again, to summarize, the myth is that you see people and you imagine that they have no stress, that they have no obstacles, that every decision is an easy one. No, it's not. It's not easy. It's not easy being a high performer, and it's not easy being excellent. It's not easy being the best. Now, but by being the best, I don't mean like technically #1 trophy best. I mean like the best you can be. That's really hard to do. That's why so few people actually do it. But if you're passionate about your why, that's when you push through. And so you need to remember your why. And that's why I asked you that question at the beginning. Because I'm going to be real with you. Pushing through the end of the school year like a boss is not easy. Being a champion, and I don't necessarily mean, again, first place trophy champion. I mean a champion of the heart, a champion of the mind is not easy. So I'm going to dispel that myth. I'm going to give you tools that you can use. And I guarantee you that you will implement these tools. And if you do, you will see improvement. And you will start achieving things you never thought you could. But it's not going to be easy. And so we got to dispel that right now. If you think being incredible is easy, if you think being the best marching band or drum corps in the world is easy, if you think achieving massive success more so than the vast majority of the world is easy, it is not. People might make it look easy. You might look at Michael Jordan play basketball and be like, that's easy. It's not easy. He just makes it look easy because he's dedicated his life to it. And so when you're feeling stress, when you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay. You're allowed to feel that way. You should feel that way. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. You're not a low performer for feeling stress, for feeling fear, for feeling overwhelmed, for feeling like you don't know how you're going to push to the end of this thing. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. What is wrong is if you let those emotions stop you from actually taking action. We all have the same fears, the same hesitation. But if you let that stop you from actually doing what needs to be done, that is where you're going to get into trouble. And that is what will guarantee to allow you not to achieve what you want. And it was important for me to tell you this now. #1, to let you know, hey, you're normal. It's okay to feel stress and to feel overwhelmed. I constantly feel stressed and overwhelmed, like on the regular, right? But I still push through it. And that's why I get what I want. And so realize when you're feeling these things, it's okay. And when you, and if you look at someone, you're like, man, they just got something I don't. Since you came here tonight, you're going to tell yourself, nope, that's not true. That's not true. Rob said that's not true. And I know it's not true because we all feel the same things. They just think differently. And I got to get to their level. How can I get to their level mentally? And then you do new actions that lead to new results, and you know the rest. Right? If you're loving this so far, right, I'm loving it because I want to know that you're getting some good stuff out of this before we keep going in the chat here. I want to know that this is actually making a difference for you. Let's go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Let's go. Come on. Awesome. Awesome. Good. Good, gang. Sweet. Cord, you're welcome. Oh, I could do this all night. I absolutely love it too. All right, let's dig in. Notepads out. First thing is time blocking. Time blocking is the blueprint of your day. Excuse me. I'm so worked up here. Drink some water. Time blocking is the blueprint of your day. All right. Actually, bonus tip before we get into this, I should have put this in here. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Make sure you always got a nice full water bottle with you. Go on Amazon, get a big 32-ouncer. Just keep it full. Drink water, not soda, not Kool-Aid, not that junky stuff. Okay, just water. Drink enough water during the day. All right. Now, I'm going to stop screen share. I'm going to pour into you about time blocking a little bit. Okay. So write this down because I got some good stuff on time blocking here. Now, time blocking. Let me ask. I want you to write yes in the chat if you've ever felt out of control. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, if you feel like you're reacting to things around you all the time and you're just like totally out of control Like you're just being pulled in a billion different directions and there's nothing you can do about it. Yep. 25/8 for Maddie. Living in an alternate universe with 25/8. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. Good. So again, thank you all for participating in that. So I'm going to tell you now why. And so take your pen, take your notepad and write this down because I'm going to tell you why you're feeling that way. And this is the answer. You feel that way because you are reacting to your environment. You are reacting to your day rather than controlling your day. I want you to write the word amazing if you think it would just feel amazing to be in complete control of your day, to anticipate everything. If you just imagine, like, what would it feel like to just be in control of my day and not feel reactive or overwhelmed at all? I want you to type amazing because that would just be so amazing, right? You're like, how? I can only imagine how amazing that would feel. It would be amazing. And here's the thing, right? It is amazing. And I tell you from experience, and I'm going to tell you how you do it. It's called time blocking. I'm going to give you an overview of time blocking. And I'm also going to type in the chat here a YouTube video that I have on the subject of time blocking, so you can bookmark it and watch it later. And I'm going to type in my YouTube channel as well. It's simply robstein.tv. You can check out, I got a ton of great videos on there. Now, time blocking is the blueprint of your day. I'm going to tell you what it is very simply. Time blocking is assigning a specific time of the day for a specific task. Think of it this way. And here's a really good reason we can all relate to this. You time block every time you're on the field. Marching band, right? Drum corps are really good at time blocking. Anyone that's been to a drum corps rehearsal, whether you're in or you're a fan, you go to the food truck, you see the big whiteboard with, right, 7 to 8, breakfast, stretch and run, visual, lunch, brass, sectionals, dinner, ensemble, lights out. That's time blocking, right? Metronome, beep, 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 pick up, pick up, pick up. That's time blocking. Doing specific things at specific times when you know that's what you're doing. Can you imagine if drum corps and marching bands didn't time block? Can you imagine if you said, hey, director, staff member, when's rehearsal? I don't know. Come to the field in the morning. Well, what time? Just in the morning. Okay. Hey, staff member, what are we doing? Right? Or for the staff members, can you imagine showing up to rehearsal? Like rehearsal starts at 9 and the whole staff is sitting in the circle and they go, okay, what should we do today? When should we stop for lunch? Did anyone order lunch? Are the band parents here cooking? Right? That would be, yeah, chaos is an understatement, right, Teresa? I mean, you couldn't function. It's like laughable. Now, here's another question. Why do you think you get so good at marching band and drum corps in such a short amount of time? I mean, think about it. Drum corps have winter camps. So it's like literally a dozen days of rehearsal before move-ins, pretty much. And then from like Memorial Day until 2.5 months later, they get like freaky good in a super short amount of time. You know why? Time blocking, consistency. It's a very set schedule. Marching band, same thing. Same thing with marching band, right? You got your rehearsal from 5 to 8, 6 to 9, whatever it is, right? You show up, there's an agenda. Your staff has planned the agenda. Let's go. Color guard year round, never ends. That's right. Time blocking. You get in the gym, you set up on the floor. Let's go. Time blocking. Now, literally all you need to do is basically take that framework. If you imagine when you show up to that rehearsal and it's like, we're doing warm-ups, we're doing visual, we're doing warm-ups, we're doing sectionals, we're doing ensemble, we clean up, we go home. Here's the exact times down to the minute that we do that. If you've seen some real high-performing groups, they're like, we're going to have a water break from 7:42 to 7:46. Like, woo, that is specific. Can you imagine if you got that specific in your day? That's what you want to do. You want to take that framework and apply it to your day. So here's how you do it. Number one, write this down. You create your perfect week schedule. Now you can very simply go into like Excel, numbers, Google spreadsheet, take a basic spreadsheet, start from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed in like 15-minute increments. 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock. Right? Mine would look like 4:30, wake up, 4:30 to 5, get dressed, make my coffee. 5 to 5:15, drive to the gym. 5:15 to 5:30, put my stuff in the locker room, get ready to go. 5:30, on the floor, warm up, start. 5:30 to 6:30, wait. 6:30 to 7, cardio, right? And, back in the, breakfast, 8:30 in the office, it's all laid out. So I can literally look at my spreadsheet and know exactly what I'm doing. Let me show you an example. Y'all want to see an example of that? Okay. I'll show you an example. Here's an example that I give to my real estate coaching students. I have an incredible real estate sales course, and I teach real estate agents how to time block their day. So here's what it looks like. Now, this isn't my schedule, but this is like a template that I give them, right? 6 to 6:30, you wake up, coffee, morning routine. You exercise, 6:30 to 7:15, 7:30 to 8, breakfast. 8 to 8:30, you're working on my sales course. You do what I call your workday wind-up routine. You get ready at 8:30 to 9. 9 to 10, 5 to 10:30, you're generating leads, lead follow-up, lunch, right? So everything is super duper laid out for you and color-coded. Now imagine if your day looked like that. If you knew, okay, I got school or I got classes, boom, I got this rehearsal, I got this, I got that, and you're modifying each week as you go. So that like Monday morning, when you wake up, you see your whole week laid out in front of you. Every single minute of every day is accounted for. That'd be awesome, right? Well, guess what? There's nothing preventing you from doing that. Like nothing. Now, each one of you registered for this in advance. So you should have got my Sunday email yesterday morning. Raise or type in the chat, I got it, if you got the email I sent yesterday. Giving you some tips for Sunday. Okay, sweet. So a lot of people got it. Now I want you to write yes if you actually did anything in that email yesterday. If you did anything that was in the email yesterday, write yes. Okay. This is literally the first time the chat has slowed down all night. So we got a few people, right? Kaylee, Serenity, good. Katie, Kaylee, Clement, good. Okay. Anthony, good. And so this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I can give you the ideas. You must implement the ideas. I cannot implement these ideas for you. In my mind, my week starts on Monday, or excuse me, on Sunday. Now, I really reserve Sunday for family. I really try not to work on Sunday unless I can avoid it. Like yesterday, I had to get some work done. But like Sunday night, Sunday late afternoon, that's when I'm like gearing up for the week, man. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm looking at my goals. I'm finalizing my time blocking. Because if I wait until I wake up Monday morning to start thinking about the week, I'm like way behind the 8 ball. There's no way I could function owning multiple businesses, teaching all these people, coaching all these people, working with all these programs, drum corps, marching bands. Like there's no way I could do all that if I waited until Monday morning to mentally get going here. So Sunday would be an awesome day to like work on that time blocking, right? Imagine taking the time, like, when you set it up, it'll take some time, but after that, you're just modifying. Imagine being able to be like, yo, I know exactly what's going on this week. How awesome would that be? You can totally do that. Now I'm going to say it's 8 o'clock. Are y'all type, I'm cool. If you're cool with me going over a little bit, because I ain't done yet and I want to keep pouring into you. Okay. If you got to roll, you got to roll. But if you're cool, right? I'm cool going over a little bit. Okay. I tend to do this because I just don't want to stop. All right, cool. Everybody's cool. Let's go. So you make your perfect week schedule. Okay. And then you protect your schedule. He's frozen, Gabriel. So cool. And then you protect your schedule. You got to protect it. Now, for many of you, this is easy. Like if you're in school or you're in college, your schedule is kind of laid out for you. And the reason some of you are really, really good at that is because other people are holding you accountable. You go to these classes at these times. It's laid out for you. The problem where most people run into, gang, and this is why statistically, the vast majority of entrepreneurs fail. The vast majority of small business owners fail because they're really good when other people hold them accountable. And they're really bad when they have to hold themselves accountable. Right? Most people, when they jump from like a salaried 9-to-5 job to being business owners and entrepreneurs, fail because there's no one telling them what to do. There's no schedule laid out for them. There's no office to go into, right? They now have to come up with their own goals, take their own initiatives, hold themselves accountable. And that's where they run into trouble. So what you really need to focus on is those times when you're holding yourself accountable, like outside of class, outside of school, outside of rehearsal. That's where you're going to start running into trouble. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You need to hold yourself accountable. Now, pro tip, I recommend you get a friend to be your accountability buddy. You can get a friend, like a peer, to be your accountability buddy, to send a text. Hey, did you hit your goals today? Did you hit your time blocking today? Did you get it done today? Did you make hard decisions today? Did you face adversity and take action anyway today? You can hold each other accountable because here's the thing. We let ourselves down way easier than we let other people down. Let's say you're trying to get in shape. If you're not going to the gym with a friend, you're definitely going to wake up one morning and be like, I'm not feeling it. And then you're not going to go. But what if you're going to meet me at the gym and you're like, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym. And you get a text from me and I say, hey, Anthony, I'll see you at the gym in an hour. You're going to go because I'm expecting you to be there and you don't want to let me down. So get someone else to help you be accountable. That's one of the reasons people hire me and bring me in, right? To help hold people accountable. So that's really important. It's not weakness to ask someone to help you be accountable. Okay. Number 2, realize in order to not be stressed, to not feel overwhelmed, stop trying to multitask. It's literally impossible. When you're multitasking, you're not doing many things at once. You're rapidly switching back and forth between 2 tasks, and your brain can never really dial in on anything. One of the biggest problems in the world, which I guarantee is a problem for a lot of you, is in the middle of every task you're doing, you're picking up your phone like muscle memory and looking at it for literally no reason at all, other than to like mindlessly scroll through stuff. Holding you accountable right now. Hope you're ready. So you need to be protective of your time. If you get home and you're doing homework from like 5 to 6, do homework from 5 to 6. Stop looking at your phone. Don't have the TV on in the background. Don't listen to music. Focus in on your stuff and get it done. That's the time to do it. It's not time to do other stuff. You got to protect your time. High performers, people that achieve success, people that do big things, protect their time. If I have an obligation and someone says, hey, Rob, can you do this? Can you do that? Can we meet here? No, I have an obligation. I can't do it. You got to be protective of your time no matter what. And sometimes it's going to be really tempting not to be protective of your time. You're going to have something to do and someone's going to say, hey, do you want to go out and hang out? And you're going to have to say, no, I have other commitments. That's what I'm saying. It's not easy all the time to be really great, to truly maximize your potential and reach the ultimate version of yourself that you know you're capable of being. Or maybe you don't know you're capable of being it. And I'm giving you permission to say, yes, you can. But you got to do things you've never done before to accomplish things you've never accomplished before. So you got to be protective of your time. Easy way to do it. Utilize focus. Do not disturb, right? When I'm working during the day, my phone is on do not disturb. So if people try to text me, like I don't see notifications or hear anything disturbing me. It's going to take me out of my zone. Okay. Being awesome is not easy. Being a champion of the mind is not easy. But by time blocking and being protective of your time, no longer will you feel overwhelmed. No longer will you be out of control. No longer will you feel like you're being pulled in all these directions, like you're reacting to things, because when you time block, you are being proactive. You anticipate what's coming. You know what's coming, and things can't interrupt you, right? If you're trying to get homework done and your phone's beep, beep, boop, 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 beep, and it's going off. And you're like, man, if only these people would stop interrupting me. Well, why are you letting them? They're not going to stop. Just turn your phone off or put it on do not disturb so you're not aware of those notifications, and check it when you're done. No one is making you do anything. You are responsible for everything that happens to you and everything that doesn't happen to you. You are responsible. I'm going to say that again. You are responsible for everything that happens to you and everything that doesn't happen to you. When you have that mentality, man, life is going to get crazy awesome. But you got to hold yourself accountable. Be protective of your time. So that is the overview of how you can stop feeling overwhelmed, start feeling in control. All right. Everybody got that? Let's go. Cool. Good. Moving on. Let's talk about goal setting. Let's talk about goal setting. You need a target to aim for. Okay. How many of you, I want you to write me in the chat if you have goals. You got goals. You got some kind of goal you're trying to accomplish. Me. Awesome. Okay, good. Now, write me again if you've ever written them down. Okay, we got a lot of me's in there. Awesome. Good. Okay, not me. Okay, Kaylee, thanks for being honest. Cool. Here's the thing. You are 42% more likely to accomplish your goals. All right, Anthony, let's go. First time this Sunday because he implemented the email. Let's go, right? You're 42% more likely to accomplish your goals when you write them down with a pen or pencil, not type them in, not put them in your notes or your phone or in your Kindle or whatever, right? You write them down, old school, like I did when I was a kid before cell phones and computers. Okay, you write them down. Keep a journal in your bedroom. Write down your goals for the next day. So when you're going to bed, write down your goals for the next day. Why? Because that's the last thing you're going to think about before you go to bed. Right when you're going to sleep, you're thinking about what are you going to accomplish at a high level the next day. That means when you wake up, it's probably going to be the first thing you think about, which is awesome. Write down your goals. Each morning, write down the most important things that you're going to do that day. So whatever you write down the night before and whatever you write down in the morning are usually going to be the same. That's okay. Right? When you practice something and you get it right, are you like, okay, I got it right, I'm never going to practice that again? Of course not. You keep doing it to get perfect, to get excellent, to achieve mastery. Same thing. You write your goals down in the night. You write them down again in the morning. That really solidifies them in here. You're going to stay focused. You're going to have goals. Today, I got to crush this exam. I got to do this. I got this final. I got to practice. I got this jury. I got this concert, but I'm time blocked. I know what I'm doing and I got my goals and I'm ready to go. My mind is dialed in. Let's go. I'm telling you, you write your goals down every night and every morning. You are going to have so much power at the end of the year. And I can also assure you that if you don't do any of the stuff I'm telling you, then you will not get those positive results. And you're going to be right where you are before you even signed on today. So write down your goals. Be specific and time-bound in your goals. I am going to do this thing at this time. Not just, I'm going to be great today. Well, that's way too broad. I'm going to have a great performance at my concert tonight at 7 p.m. There we go. I'm going to get to my 7 classes on time today. There we go, right? Those are specific time-bound goals. Last tip, visualize yourself executing these goals. I bet in your program, your staff, or if you are staff, hopefully you're training to visualize, right? You close your eyes, you visualize yourself marching around the field, performing your show, right? Nailing it. You toss it, you catch it. It's perfect. You visualize this so that when you're actually doing it, you have a way higher likelihood of doing it right, the way you visualized it. And hopefully you do visualization. If not, you really need to start. So visualize yourself achieving your goals. When you write them down, close your eyes and like see it in your mind's eye, like you're watching a movie. You see yourself accomplishing these goals. That's what high performers do. That's goal setting. All right. Number 3. Y'all ready for number 3? We're going to get to number 3. And number 3 is prioritize sleep. Prioritize sleep. Because here's the thing. Professionals take their sleep very seriously. Olympic athletes, the one that wins the gold medals, the best in the world, guess what they do? They sleep. They don't party. They're not messing around on their phone, 11 o'clock, they sleep. So here's the thing about sleep. Take some bullets. 7 to 8 hours per night. 7 to 8 hours per night. Now, here's the thing. If you're thinking, I can't get 7 to 8 hours per night, I guarantee you that you can, and you just won't. You probably could. You could change something around, right? Here's some of the reasons you don't sleep. Number one, you're not letting yourself sleep. When it's getting dark out and it's getting time to, start going to bed, your circadian rhythms are kicking in. Your body should be secreting melatonin to make yourself sleepy. That's like what happens when you start feeling sleepy. Okay. Here's what stops melatonin release: staring at your phone, watching TV, playing video games, all of those things, that artificial light, because it needs to be dark for you to get sleepy. And so when you have these lights coming into your eyeballs, your brain is saying it must not be nighttime yet. And there's no way you're going to go to sleep. So this might be hard for you, but you want to sleep better. At least 30 minutes before bed, just turn off all the screens. Just turn them off, make it dim in your house, in your apartment, in your dorm. Loud noises go away, right? Like, start doing things that are going to make you sleepy, and stop staring at your screens. Okay, I'll tell you now, I'm probably going to get to bed later tonight because I have these huge bright lights in my studio, and it's almost 8:30. I'm usually in bed 9:15, 9:30. Okay. And so for sure, I'm going to be up late tonight just because of the nature of this webinar, and that's okay. Because I think another reason I'm not going to sleep is I'm just so hyped up about all this stuff. I'm so excited. But turn the screens off and pick a consistent bedtime for yourself. So whatever time you need to wake up, rewind 7.5 hours. That's when you go to bed. So that means 8 hours total prior. That's when it shuts down. If your bedtime is 10 p.m., 9:30 p.m., you got to shut it down, man. You got to shut it down. And if you're like, oh, I can't do that, I want you to replace that with, I won't do that, because you're totally capable of doing that. You just need to make the decision to do it. But you got to prioritize your sleep. Some of you really underestimate the importance of good sleep. That's when your mind heals. That's when your muscles heal, especially if you're doing marching band and drum corps, especially if you're doing drum corps. Oh, boy. Right? Crown knows. I was pretty transparent with Crown, man. When you get lights out, you better be sleeping, because we abuse our bodies way too much. Drum corps all day. And then again and again and again and again and again, on the bus, off the bus. Oh my God, so hot, so tired, so achy. Get more sleep. Get a good sleep schedule. Have it cold in the room. Having it cold really helps. Total darkness. Eliminate the screens 30 minutes before bed. You're going to prioritize your sleep. You do all three of those things. You time block, you goal set, you prioritize your sleep. You're going to crush it at the end of the year. Now we're wrapping up. So I'm going to go back to the screen share. Then we're going to open up to some Q&A. Okay. No, I want to emphasize as we're wrapping up here that speed of implementation is the key. So I've laid it out for you. You got a bonus email yesterday. I've laid out for you really detailed things that you can, I promised you I would, and I did. You can literally start doing these things today, like tonight, 30 minutes before bed, shut it down, right? You can do that tonight. The question is, are you going to? Speed of implementation is the key. If you're like, man, if Rob gives me some things I can do to crush it to the end of the school year, I would be so happy. Well, I did. So now you have to do it. Will you do it? This is where we're going to start seeing the people that are really committed. This is where we're going to start seeing the people that are willing to make sacrifices now to get what you want later. But I promise you from experience that if you really choose to be committed to these high performance habits, you're going to start achieving things you never thought were possible. Now, on that note, I want to recommend this book, High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. It's fantastic. Recommended reading. Highly recommended reading. High Performance Habits. This book changed my life. Changed the lives of a lot of my coaching students because I implemented a lot of the stuff with them. High Performance Habits. Now, as we open up the Q&A, I want you to know that I am available for virtual and live leadership and mindset coaching sessions for your program. I'm available for that. We can do virtual sessions right here in my studio. We tailor them to your group. And I also have some slots left to come fly out over Bandcamp, summer or fall, to do a live session with the entire program, with the staff, with the leadership team. Yes, I do mindset coaching for the staff also. We can get all of that accomplished. So here's what I want you to do. If you're interested in that, if you're just like, you know what, I'm kind of interested, I want to get Rob on the phone to talk about this. You can scan this QR code right here. You can also click the link I just put up in the chat. Just put that link up in the chat and you can put it in. Now, if you're a student and you're like, man, I want to get Rob in here, I want you to forward that link, forward that QR code to your director. Let them get in touch with me. If you're a staff member or director, I want you to go ahead and scan that QR code. Okay. This is just a total free call. We're just going to connect. I want to learn more about you, more about your program, what you're trying to accomplish. And let's talk about if you want to do something virtual or live or even both. But you can scan that QR code again, or you go to the link I just put up in the chat at marchingmindset.com. Okay, /mindset-coaching. So just again, the QR code or the link in the chat is going to get it done. I'm going to leave this up. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the Q&A. And I want anyone that has a question, I'm not going to shut this down until all questions are answered. Okay. So what I want you to do is type a question that you have in the chat. I want you to type a question that you have in the chat so that I can answer your question. Literally anything. I'm here to help. Okay. Now, Thomas says, I really want to start time blocking. And I've always been very unorganized. And I know that I'm afraid of starting, fear of the unknown. That's right. You attended my workshop. Do you have any tips for me to get started time blocking? Maybe a way to build it up? Yeah. So Thomas, here's what you can do. And here's the thing, gang. I guarantee you that there's a lot of other questions in here. So let's help everyone that has this issue. Okay. How to start time blocking? Well, again, step one is going to be simply to open up a spreadsheet. I use numbers on Mac. You can use Google Sheets. You can use Excel. Literally, I would say number one, just create the spreadsheet. Maybe that's the only thing you do, because it can be very overwhelming to look at this whole big thing, right? Just, tonight, Thomas, before you go to bed, it's going to take you just a few minutes. Open up a spreadsheet, and in the left column, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed in 15-minute increments. Okay, 6 a.m., 6:15 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 6:45, 7, 7:15, 7:30. All the way, until bedtime. Then just start with like a basic template, because part of the thing when we start time blocking is we're like, oh, it's just got to be perfect. I got to have everything all laid out. The first draft of your time block schedule is definitely not going to be the last one. It's always going to be changing too, depending on what's going on in your life and the time of year and all that. But I would say just start it as a basic template for the day. Just start it. And I guarantee, Thomas, that you're going to start seeing results once you even just have it written down in front of you. Now, here's the other cool thing for Thomas and anyone else, okay? Once you actually take action on something, you're going to realize how easy it is and how not overwhelming it is, okay? You can also post your questions anonymously, gang, if you want to. So part of it is like, oh, I'm so afraid and hesitant to start time blocking because it just seems very overwhelming. Dude, once you just open up the spreadsheet, put in your times and make your first day, you're going to be like, that was really easy. I have no reason to be overwhelmed or hesitant about this. And then you're really going to start gaining momentum. But tips for you to get started. Number one, open up the spreadsheet and just block your times. That's it. Okay. Maybe the next day you just do the morning. Maybe the next day you add on. So maybe you take a whole week, dude, just to build up your perfect week schedule. You don't have to sit down and do it all in one session. You might say, okay, tonight, I'm just going to create the times. Tomorrow, I'm just going to do the morning. Then I'm going to add on the afternoon. Then I'm going to add on the evening. Then I'm going to do my bedtime routine. And then Friday, I'm going to tweak it up. And then I'm going to start using it on Saturday. So now you're taking like 5 or 6 days to build it out. So you can just go in baby steps, just like create small goals. So don't say, I have to make my perfect week schedule. You can break it down, just like for my musicians in the house, right? And when I was getting my degree in trumpet, if I had a really hard piece, I wouldn't necessarily go in the practice room and say, I'm going to practice this entire piece of music tonight. Just like when you're on the drum corps marching band field, it's not like, okay, let's do a run through. Let's do another run through. Like, you break it down. Sometimes you might spend a whole rehearsal on like 2 sets. You break down the issue. And so don't feel like you have to sit down and do the whole thing, buddy. Right? You can do little increments of your perfect week schedule over the course of the week. So Thomas, what I encourage you to do is create a specific and time-bound goal and say, I will have my perfect week schedule finished by Friday at 6 p.m. It's Sunday, right? Or Monday right now. So you got time. And then you can just break down a little schedule of what part of that are you going to do tonight? What part are you going to do tomorrow? But here's the thing. I guarantee once you start that first spot, you're probably going to finish it a lot quicker than you think, because you're going to realize you had nothing to worry about. Okay. Cool. Anonymous. I'm a rising high school junior and I have drum major auditions coming up. Good luck. And I love all these, gang. I promise I'm not going to stop. So if you asked a question, and I promise I'm going to get to it. I'm feeling stressed about it. I know the music, but I feel unprepared. There are a few other kids who I feel are better than me. Do you have any advice? Yeah. I was drum major of my high school and drum major of my first drum corps. I was drum major of my high school for 2 years, my junior and senior year. I was drum major. I spent 6 years at the Jersey Surf on soprano as section leader and soloist. And then I was drum major there for 2 years before I went to Blue Devils. So yes, I completely understand what you're saying. I believe that preparation, okay, for the one who's auditioning for drum major is really the key. So, you know, what I see you wrote is, I know the music, but I still feel unprepared. So I would say you still have time, by the way, don't stress. You still have time, but I would recommend you time block from, like, you know, when you get home from school to, you know, like tomorrow and Wednesday, don't do anything else but work on your audition, play the music. When I auditioned for drum major, I would literally hours and hours and hours a day, just loop it on repeat, and practice everything I had to do. Preparation is the key to eliminate nerves. You're still going to be a little nervous, but the more prepared you are, the more practice, the more reps you have under your belt, the higher performance you're going to have, and the more peaceful you're going to be in your mind. Now, another thing you wrote, I think there are a few kids who I feel are better than me. I guarantee you, whoever wrote that there are people looking at you that think you're better than they are. I guarantee it for sure. Now, what I don't want you to do is stay focused on that. Here's the thing, right? A lot of life, gang, is an offense-only sport where you have no control over the other people. You have no control over who's showing up, their level of preparation, if they've been conducting longer or whatever. All you have control over is your efforts. Now, when I think that's one of the reasons I love bodybuilding, right? When I would get on a bodybuilding stage, I have no idea who's going to show up. It would like literally be 6 months of preparation, of dieting and all this stuff for like 20 minutes on stage. And my first bodybuilding coach, he would say to me, Rob, when you get on stage, you have to look left and you have to look right. And you have to know beyond doubt that you worked harder than everybody else. Now, I have no doubt that you want to be drum major more than anything in the world. And I hope it works out for you. But the most important thing that matters is that you show up to that audition, that by the time you leave that audition, you say, I could not have prepared anymore. I could not have tried any harder. And even if you get a decision that you weren't hoping for, at least you know that you did your best. That's all you can really do. The problem is when you don't do your best and you have the what if I could have tried harder? What if I could have done this? What if I could have done that? That's where the problems really come in. And so I think just preparing as much as you can, knowing you're giving it everything you got. If you need extra help, ask someone for help, ask your teacher for help, ask your director for help. They're going to help you. But the more prepared you can be, the better. Okay. This is a weird question. It's not a weird question. The only question that is the silly question is the one that you want to ask, but don't. So don't worry about that. I don't play brass or percussion or guard, but I've always wanted to be in the Blue Devils. Let's go. I'm an upcoming junior in high school. Do you think it's possible to make DCI? I know it isn't really related. Of course it's related. We're talking about marching band and drum corps. This is absolutely related. And I think that's an outstanding question. Just the fact that you don't, to whoever asked that question, the fact that you don't currently do any of those things and you have an aspiration and you're asking how to get it done is huge. So I think we all need to applaud that person for asking that question. That's a fantastic question, and it's absolutely relevant. Is it possible to make DCI? Absolutely. There are cores, I bet, that have holes right now that would be happy to take you if you're willing to work. I'll be real with you. Is it possible you want to march Blue Devils? Is it possible to bake Blue Devils in the next year or two? Maybe. Probably not, because you need to build up your skill set first. Could you do it within year 3 to 4? Absolutely. Is that a good long-term goal? Hell yeah. I marched a Division II Corps for 6 years with aspirations to get into the Blue Devils, and I did. Played upper lead trumpet in 2005 and 6 before aging out. So yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. I marched with so many people that were like, I play saxophone in marching band and concert band, but I really wanted to march drum corps. So I picked up, right? My wife played piccolo on the marching band field and flute in the concert band, but she really wanted to march drum corps. So she picked up a tuba and marched contra like a boss, right? That's where we met. So yeah, you could absolutely do it. You can totally do it. It's going to be a challenge, right? You're going to have to practice a lot. You're going to have to figure out, what do you want to do in the drum corps? Get lessons, practice, time block, work at it for a couple years. But I bet you could march DCI literally this year. I bet you can email every drum corps this week and say, do you have any holes? I'm a hard worker. I really want to march. I don't have any experience on the equipment, but here's what I can do, and I'm willing to fill a hole and learn. I guarantee you can march this year. There's a corps out there that would take you, and you can work your way up. Serenity, what habits do you recommend getting into before joining a big league marching band in college or after? What habits do I recommend getting into before joining a big league marching band in college or after? Well, I think a lot of the things, Serenity, that we talked about tonight, and I would also recommend you go to my YouTube channel at robstein.tv to learn some of that mindset stuff. It's when you're especially in a college marching band or drum corps, right? You're juggling that with the rest of your life, and it can be very, very, very challenging. And so you need to be good at handling a lot of responsibility. You need to be good at handling a lot of responsibility, which is utilizing time blocking, which is utilizing delayed gratification, right? So for example, college marching band, you're going to travel a lot. You got to keep up with your studies. Your friends might want to go and hang out, and you're going to have to say no, because you're going to have to get it done and get good grades. When I was in college, I was getting a bachelor's and a master's degree at the same time, and traveling from Pennsylvania to California for Blue Devils camp, and teaching 3 marching bands a week, and playing trumpet professionally. It was crazy. Right. But I was really passionate. And so I just gave it my all and really focused in. I didn't party. I was not a party guy in college. I practiced, I aced my classes, and I worked hard. And so I think as long as you have the right mindset and you know what you're getting yourself into, you can do it. How do you transfer, Emil, your motivation to the kids, helping them to get more motivated and excited? Well, Emil, so I'm assuming you are obviously in a staff or director position. I think I remember you typing that from before. I saw some questions in the chat too. I'm going to get to those. And they're going to feed off of your energy, number one. They're going to feed off of your energy, okay? And so if you're in front of them, low energy, they're going to be low energy. If you're high energy, they're going to feed off of that too. They're going to feed off of that too. So realize, number one, that leading by example as a staff member or director, that is primary. Okay. Now here's another thing I would encourage you to think about. And again, this is for everybody, right? Especially leadership. And when I do leadership training with organizations, whether they're marching or otherwise, we talk a lot about this, is leading by example. You, by your character, need to motivate your students. Your students need to just look at you and be like, that motivates me. Just the way Emil is, the way they live their life, the way they function day to day is motivating. So you need to lead by example. I can't tell you the amount of times in leadership where you have leaders that are telling their underlings what to do, and they don't live by those things. So for sure, getting them more motivated, getting them more excited. A lot of that is going to be the vibe that they get off of you. Now, also part of it is making sure they understand their purpose, giving them a purpose. So when I'm instructing, when I go in for a clinic, I'm like, for a band that's playing my music, and I have 70, 80 bands a year playing my music. And I do a lot of touring over the fall, working with them, and I do mindset coaching and I work my show. And so when I do that and I'm like, hey, here's what we're going to do tonight, and here's why we're doing it. People always want to know why they do things. So I think if you're not doing this yet, maybe you are, but when you have a rehearsal and you have the agenda, let them know, here's what we're doing and here's why. Here's the purpose. People need to have purpose. Someone wrote that earlier for their why. They got to have purpose. Give them the motivation and the purpose behind what they're doing. Okay. And as objectively as I can say, I think it would really help if you fill out that form and see if we could do some virtual or live training with your students, because that for sure is going to get them motivated. All right. Mark Troy says, what are your most efficient ways of resetting your mindset? How do you go from being stressed and overwhelmed to being present and intentional? Mark is an up and comer, gang, in the mindset game. He's a great student, and he is really proactive in this stuff. Mark, honestly, you got to start taking action. Like, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So for example, Mark, now Mark is also a member of Crown, so he's seen me do some really extensive sessions, right? It's literally implementing and taking action on a lot of the things that I'm teaching you. Or if you go to another YouTube video and you see like Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, some of these awesome speakers that you might be like, yes, you got to start taking action. The reason that people don't improve is because they don't take action. People know what they're supposed to do. Some of the things I talked about tonight were probably new. Some of the things I talked about tonight probably just put words to things that y'all have been thinking yourself, but maybe couldn't verbalize appropriately. But you got to start taking action. So how do you go from feeling stressed and overwhelmed to being present and intentional? Literally, dude, it's by doing the things I'm telling you to do. It's by time blocking. It's by being proactive. It's by saying no. It's by making short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. It's when you feel stressed and you're like, I'm hesitant to start taking action on this thing. You do it anyway, without hesitation. You just freaking do it. It's literally that simple. But for so many people, Mark, and I'm sure a lot of others, it's not that easy. And so you have to literally, it's taking action. It's speed of implementation and taking action. That is the very simple answer. How do you reset your mindset? You learn this kind of stuff, right? You attend my sessions, what you're doing. You go on YouTube and you go to my channel, you go to other people's channels, you go to other mindset coaches in there that you resonate with, and you listen and you expose yourself to other ways of thinking. And then after you expose yourself to that way of thinking, you implement it in your life. So like, how do you go to be more present? Like literally, if you want to be more present, be more present. Focus on what's going on around you. I do that all the time. I'm always thinking in the future. And sometimes I have to like just take deep breaths and think about what I'm doing here now. You might say like, all right, I'm going to focus on the blue wall or whatever. Like, but if you need to literally focus on things in the present, then do that. But if you want to start feeling in control and intentional, you got to start time blocking. If you want to be more present, you can do a lot of the things I taught you. You can also go to YouTube and type, how do I be more present? Find a mindset coach that you really like, resonate with them, and then do exactly what they're recommending that you do. Do it. Don't think about it. Don't just go, oh, that was cool, and click on something else. Like, actually do it. But literally the answer is take action, take action, take action. That's the only way you're going to learn. And that's the only way you're going to get the change that you want, buddy. Any tips on getting things started? I find I need to wait for the perfect time to do things. Woo! I'm so glad you asked me that question. I had to spin around. Here's the thing. You ready for this one? Anonymous attendee at 8:21 p.m. Check this out. There is no perfect time. There's never a perfect time. I've accomplished more in my life so far than I ever imagined I could have. There's never been a perfect time to do anything. That's one of the reasons that there's this like analysis paralysis mindset, is because you probably imagine, anonymous attendee, that you might look at someone and be like, they must just know exactly when to do these things. No, dude, they just do it. One of my very favorite coaches, Ed Milet, has a saying that, high performers, we have a lower threshold for the amount of information we feel we need to know before taking action on something. And that's totally true, right? People that are not as successful don't take action because they feel like they need to wait for the right time. People that are successful realize there is no right time. You just need to start. You just need to start taking action. It doesn't matter what's happening around you. The best time to start is now. Listen to me again. The best time to start is right now. Right now. It's not later. It's not tomorrow. It's not when the stars align for the lunar eclipse. It's like literally right now, because there will never be a perfect time. There will never be a perfect time when there's no stress, when you go, now's the time. That literally doesn't exist. It never has and never will. So do I have any tips on getting things started? Yeah, just start. That's it. You thought it was going to be more complicated. Nope. Right now is the time. That's what most people have trouble with, because they think they're going to feel more prepared. You think you got to know everything before you start. Well, guess what? You're not going to know anything until you start. Right? How nonsense would this be if I said I want to be a professional trumpet player? So I'm just going to watch YouTube videos about trumpet, but I'm not really going to pick up the trumpet until I feel it's the perfect time to start playing trumpet. Am I going to get good at playing trumpet? No. And if you think of it that way, it's like, well, duh, right? But for some reason, when we think about taking action on new things that scare us, we think there must be this perfect time. No, the only way you get good at doing things is by doing them. You must just start. The best time, how do you get things started? You just take the first step. The first one is always the hardest. The second one's way easier. And it gets easier from there. There is no perfect time. So I hope that helps you. I'm dispelling another myth. There is no perfect time to do anything. I'm going to get to all these questions, I promise. Teresa, trying out for a new position, drum major is really a thankless job. You don't do it to be thanked, and you don't do it for glory. What do you think is the best mindset for something like that? Well, Teresa, you got to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Right? Why are you doing it? I mean, let's be real. Even when I auditioned for drum major the first time, I wanted to help. I wanted to serve. I wanted to lead. There's also a cool aspect like, hey, I'm a drum major. That's cool. And it is a thankless job. Yeah. Everything's your fault sometimes, right? When you're a drum major, but the best mindset is you got to ask yourself, Teresa, again, what is your why? So you got to ask yourself, why do you want to be drum major? If your primary reason is for the glory, I don't think it's a good idea. If your primary reason is because you're passionate about serving, you're passionate about leading, you're passionate about utilizing your passion to help your band be better and be the best it can be, regardless of if anyone says thank you or not, that's the right reason. And so the right mindset, Teresa, is to stay focused on the why and how can you serve? How can you help? And trust me, when you do it right, when that is your purpose, you're going to be thanked a lot. People are going to appreciate what you do for them. And sometimes, you know what, even if they don't, I'm a parent, like we try to, we have a little baby, but, we're really going to try to teach her to be thankful, and to say thank you. But, it's a lot. It's a kind of a thankless job sometimes too. There are a lot of people here that signed off without saying, hey, Rob, thanks for your time, whatever. Right. I hope they got something out of it. I'm not doing this for people to say thank you. I'm doing this to help. And so I think you got to ask yourself, Teresa, why are you doing this? And for that to be the mindset of your purpose and your why. Gabriel, I've tried to set big goals before, but I always seem to deviate after a few days from diminished input and diminished returns. Any tips on keeping on and getting it done? Yup. Here we go. Let's talk about delayed gratification for a moment. Doing something now to get what you want later. Let me tell you a quick story about delayed gratification. So these bodybuilding trophies over here, right? So basically a bodybuilding show, 6 months, day in, day out, diet, working out. It's extremely rigid, tons of sacrifice. It's so hard, right? When I lost like 80 pounds, went from being real big to like revealing the beach body. That took like, 6 months of really, really hard work. And so one time I'm in the gym and I'm a couple weeks out of a show. So, I'll shred it up, and a dude in the locker room, I'm changing, and a dude in the locker room comes up to me. He's like, bro, how do you get those abs, brah? And I'm tired. I don't feel like talking about it. He's like, is it just like diet and salads and stuff and running? I'm like, yeah, whatever. None of that. But he's like, man, I'm doing what you do, but I'm not really getting the results. And I was like, well, how long you been doing it? And he goes, 10 days. Dude, come on. Here's the thing, Gabriel, okay? You wrote, you kind of answered your own question here. You wrote, I've tried to set big goals. Now, these are not little goals. These are big goals. Think of it this way. Imagine you are shopping. You're in like an Apple store. You're in a store in the mall. And there's all these shiny objects. And each object represents a goal. Now, there's little goals and there's big goals. Right? If you're trying to lose weight, you might say, I want to lose 1 pound. That's a very small goal. You might say, I want to lose 100 pounds. It's a very big goal. The bigger the goal, the more expensive the item. So there's a higher price tag that you have to pay. That price is time and sacrifice and work. Think of it this way. The bigger the goal, the further the finish line. So imagine if you have, Gabriel, a very big goal. Imagine the finish line is like, you got to run this path for like a month. You will inevitably get to the finish line if you walk this path, but you have to walk this path for a month until you get to the finish line. That would be like walking the path for 3 days and being like, I didn't hit the finish line, I'm going to stop. You have a big goal. It takes longer to accomplish big goals. It takes longer. It takes more sacrifice, more delayed gratification, more grit, more short-term sacrifice now for long-term later. And that's another problem, is that we have a grit shortage. Dude, you got to have grit. You got to have accountability. You got to do it. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get the results you want right away. You won't. And that's another part of the problem, is we have this like instant gratification mindset in this country, and it's killing us, especially in the youth, because a lot of you were born with instant gratification. It's no fault of your own, but when you're born with a cell phone in your hand and the ability to instantly access any information you want at any time and get whatever you want, working for something for a few months feels really hard. Of course it does. It's understandable. But if you set big goals, you got to do big things, and you have to wait long times to get what you want. Okay. Everything I've ever accomplished, right? Getting 2 degrees, getting into Blue Devils on upper lead trumpet, starting my music business, transitioning out of teaching to build my business, getting a real estate license, learning how to do that, starting a company, starting multiple businesses, right? Everything has taken longer than I thought it would be. And it's taken more hard work and sacrifice than I thought it would. And it's been 100% worth it every single time. You have to be gritty. You have to be hardcore. You got to go after it, and no one's going to thank you, and it's going to be hard, and you have to do it anyway. And I don't think a lot of people that are a lot of the age groups in this workshop right now in high school and college, I don't think you hear that message enough. Because in today's society, it's supposed to be easy. Live your best life. Don't face any adversity. And I'm not saying you shouldn't try to be fulfilled, but guess what? You got to work for what you want. America, the United States of America, the backbone is our work ethic. We will outwork you. That's how this country was built. That's why literally we're all here. And we're losing some of that, I think. Any tips on keeping it in and getting it done? Yeah, dude. Focus on your why. Focus on why you're doing it. Visualize that goal. Sink your teeth into it, and don't let anything stop you until you get what you want. And that's hard. You got to visualize. You got to say, why do I want this, right? But if you can do it, if you can hang in there and keep doing it day in and day out, it is literally impossible to fail. Will there be another Zoom meeting that follows up on this? You know what, George? There certainly can be. We can set up another one. Trying out for percussion captain. What do you recommend for being a successful captain? Woo. Oh, man. I recommend you read The 5 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. The 5 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell is a great one. You got to lead by example, Serenity. I think you got to be the best drummer there. Like, you have to actually be the best drummer, the highest technical proficiency. You got to lead by example. You got to be first in, last out. People need to look up to you for the actions that you take. When you do that, you will be a great leader. 5 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Anonymous attendee. I have trouble motivating myself to do much of anything. I keep losing interest in everything I used to love, and I'm scared that the same will happen to band. Again, you got to find your purpose. You got to find your purpose. Here's something that's like literally proven to cause depression is too much social media and cell phone use. I'm assuming y'all have heard something like that, but maybe like disconnect from that stuff for a while. That's kind of a deep question. But I think maintaining purpose, maintaining relationships, focusing on friendships and being around other like-minded people is going to be really helpful. And I really do recommend disconnecting from social media for a bit. Anonymous, I have ADHD and struggle with executive function. Do you have any tips for those who struggle with self-discipline and commitment? Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to read some books on that, like that, you know, I have a lot of students and a lot of people I know with ADHD that can still, you know, one of the agents in my real estate company, she also has ADHD and struggles with some specific things, but she's still massively successful. She just does things a little bit differently than probably most other people do. And that's okay. So, tips for those who struggle with self-discipline and commitment. I think you just might want to come up with some more systems to help keep you disciplined. So for example, like putting events in your calendar or something as simple as writing down sticky notes with like, I will do this at this time so you can visualize it. I think the more you can visualize things and have external systems, the better. So one of the problem is when people have things they know they have trouble with, they don't actually do anything about it. They just like leave it in their mind. And I think the more trouble you have with something, the more external systems you need to create to help you cope with that. Anonymous, I'm a current junior and co-captain on my color guard team. How do I motivate myself and my team to be the best we can be, especially when morale is down? How do I motivate myself and my team to be the best we can be, especially when morale is down? Well, you know, bring it in, man. Bring it in and tell people, hey, listen, I know we're all going through this, that, and the other thing, but here's the thing. We're here. Ask people what I ask you. What is your why? Anytime you want to get motivated, gang, you got to think about your why and your purpose. There's kind of a repetitive theme here in some of these questions, which is fine, but you got to think about your why and your purpose. You got to think about your why and your purpose. You also have to realize, again, you're not always going to feel motivated. You might get to the rehearsal field and still not feel motivated, but you still have to rehearse to the best of your ability because of what you want out of the experience. And so I would recommend bringing it in and maybe go around. Hey, everybody, we're going to go around 10 seconds each. What is your why? Why are you here? What is your why? What is your why? What is your why? What are you hoping to get out of this experience? How do you want to feel at the end of rehearsal tonight? And you go around and have each person contribute. One of the problems that leaders do is they try to take all the burden themselves. Let your people participate. I bet that would help. Any advice for a kid who wants to be a future high school band director? Yeah. Go to college, get a music ed degree, student teach from really good, make sure you get good student teaching assignments and find band directors that you admire and ask how you can add value to them in exchange. So you can like literally just reach out to a band director you admire and say, hey, I'm an aspiring high school band director. Is there anything I can do to help alleviate some of your workload, possibly in exchange for just like giving me some Q&A and giving me some mentorship? You want to surround yourself with people that you want to be like. So learning as much as you can from those types of people is going to be really helpful. I'm still chipping away, gang. I promise I'm going to get to all these if you're willing to hang in. And remember to scan that QR code if you want me to come to your program. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, gang. You're so welcome. I'm here to help. You're welcome. When I'm in my zone, when it comes to executing my good habits, it feels great. I know I'm doing well and choosing habits becomes easier. When I come in an unexpected turn or events, I lose my drive and energy. I have a hard time getting back in the same flow. I know you said we react to events. How do you bounce back from unexpected losses or adversities, which makes life feel heavier? Okay. Alexandra, I'm sure everyone else, I'm sure other people feel that. Type I feel that if you feel Alexandra's question. You're welcome, Kaylee. Right? I bet some of you feel that too, right? Like you have an unexpected adversity and it totally knocks you out of your zone, right? Again, I'm always going to be very transparent with everybody here. So, you know, life isn't fair all the time. There isn't really such a thing as fair, right? Bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Life events happen at unexpected times. It's never a good time for a big loss or adversity. And I know that, you're welcome, Anthony. I know that something that has really helped me, Alexandro, when I face those types of things, I just had a pretty big one this past week. You have to have the mindset that these things happen and they are inevitable. Some things that happen in life, you have no control over, like none. You have an unexpected loss in family, unexpected obstacle, something crazy happens with the economy or whatever. Like, there are some things you have no control over. All you have control over is how you respond to those adversities. How you respond to those adversities. And so, in order to get past those, the best tip I can give you is to adjust your mindset that, hey, stuff happens, man. Like, it happens. It's already happened. So I have two options. I can be a victim and whine about it, or I can take action and be a proactive boss about it. Those are literally the only options. And again, the really successful people are the ones that take the blows. They still have the same blows everyone else does, by the way, but they take them and they move on. I had a real heavy hit in my personal life last week. It sucked. But, I had two options and I chose to be proactive and just take control and keep going. That's all you can do. Whatever you speak and whatever you think is most likely what's going to happen. So here's another thing is you need to reframe. I'm getting a second wind now. You need to reframe. So if you have an obstacle and you start thinking to yourself, oh, this sucks. I got hit. I got knocked down. This is going to be bad. I lost my mojo. Now I have to recover and it's going to take time. Then then that's going to be really hard for you. Okay. If you say to yourself, hey, you know what? This happened. This sucks, but I'm going to get past it anyway. Here are the actionable steps I'm going to take, right? Life happens. I can either be a little wimp about it or I can be proactive about it. I'm going to choose to be proactive and not have a victim mentality, because victim mentality is not going to get you anywhere. Then that is how you get past those things. But again, think back to the myth I busted earlier. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy when life really happens to you. It's not, I don't want you to think that when you get punched in the life teeth, right? When life kicks you in the face, that you're going to be like, well, that's okay. This thing happened that totally just took my life in another direction, and it's only going to get better from here. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, it's going to impact you. And it's going to be hard to make that decision. And it's not going to feel good. Like, it's still going to feel bad to keep moving forward in the right direction. But you can still say to yourself, yeah, this sucks. This happened. This is a blow. But that's how life is. And I have news for you. As you get older, those blows only become more significant. They only become bigger. Bigger losses, bigger significant things, that's just how life is. So you can equip yourself to deal with it, or you can equip yourself to be a victim about it. And you want to be the victor, not the victim. Okay. Fresh high school graduate here. Uncertain whether I should continue to pursue band life, or do it as a side hobby. I'm mainly worried about being too busy with college. Hey, that's only something that you can decide for yourself. Think about what your major is. Think about what your priorities are. If you want to take some time off, take some time off. Band is always going to be there for you if you want to come back. Will this recording be available? It can be. If you want to, email me at rob@robstein.com. I'm going to put my email in the chat and I'll send it to you. How do I reset after a bad day? I often find I'm on a great streak and then I stumble and everything crashes down and it's hard to step back up. So Thomas, I'm just going to hit this real quick because you already hit on it before, bud, but literally just get up. Just get up, dude. Just get up and go. Again, it's going to be harder. It's like a little more resistance mentally, right? Because Because if you tell yourself, oh man, I got knocked off my horse, I skinned my knee, I got to get back up now, right? But then you need to put even more positive behind. Oh, I gotta get up, but nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to get back up. I'm not going to let this adversity get in my way, and I will keep going. Say it out loud. Thomas, let me ask you, have you ever said that out loud? That's a real question. Have you ever given yourself a motivational speech out loud? If you haven't, okay, good. Then do that more. Now, sometimes, Thomas, I want you to watch a video on my YouTube channel, again, at robstein.tv. And it's called How to Stay Motivated. And I give some tips for staying motivated, but at the end, I'm very transparent when I say, if you try these things and you're still not motivated, you just got to take action anyway. So again, it goes back to the myth, Thomas, that I think you think that when you face adversity, you're supposed to feel extremely motivated to overcome it. I believe that is the myth that you believe. That when you face an adversity, you expect that you're supposed to be excited and have no hesitation to positively move forward. And the reality is that is not true. You will feel angry. You will feel upset. You will feel fearful. You will feel disappointment, yet you must keep moving anyway. And you may take a while to recover. Dude, there are some days that I'm in my office and I'm like, I don't feel like doing any of this right now. Every fiber of my being doesn't want to do this. And I do it anyway. And at no time during the endeavor do I feel motivated. And when I finish it, I say, thank goodness that is done, because I hated every second of that, but I still did it. And I'm glad I did it, even though I didn't enjoy a single second of it. And so you got to reset your expectations, Thomas. You got to reset your expectations that you're supposed to feel motivated or excited to keep going. You might not feel those things, yet you must take action anyway. Do you meditate? Yeah, you got it, bro. Let's go. Do I meditate? Kind of, I pray. You know, I do have some quiet time prayer, and that's a form of meditation. I do think it's really important to do that. I do think it's really important to be able to sit alone with your thoughts, or sit alone with God or the universe, or just your thoughts, or whatever, whether you're, a faithful person or not. I think it's important for you to be able to do that. You're welcome, Anthony. So, I mean, typically for me, it's like, once a day for like 20 minutes, but that's also flexible. Most days I do, some days I don't. Sometimes if I need a little bit of extra prayer or meditation, I will do it. But I think a once a day, 15 to 20 minutes of quiet time with your thoughts, or without your thoughts, and you just kind of let no thoughts happen, and you just relax, and you have a thought and you let it go, and you just like at peace. I think that's really helpful. How do you pick your section up after they feel defeated? I believe I've answered that question already, so I'm going to move on, but you can send me an email if you need more clarification. George says, I'm a performer. However, I go to help my school band. Sometimes they seem to lose their motivation or their purpose to be there. How do you counteract that? Again, George, I did hit on that a little bit, but number one, you got to have a lot of energy. They're going to feed off your energy. Number two, again, try that exercise. Ask the band director, hey, can I have like a few minutes with the band real quick? Why are you here? What's your purpose? High school is a tough time. It's a tough time, right? It's emotional. People are changing. Hormones are crazy. Like, people are really forming into their own. It's there's a lot going on. High schoolers have a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility. It can be really, really stressful time sometimes. And I hope the tips I've given you when you implement them are going to help. But I think making sure they feed off of your energy and making sure that you take some time to remind them of their purpose can be really helpful. Arwen says, you sound like a listener to the Huberman Labs podcast. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Patrick Sheridan shared it in a clinic. Yeah, it's great stuff. Oh, thank you. Arwen. Who is my mindset mentor? Oh, I have a few of them. So I have a few coaches that like I engage with financially, like, and they coach me. Coach Michael Burt is one of them. You're welcome, George. Coach Michael Burt is one of them. I'm a huge Grant Cardone fan. I love his books. Be Obsessed or Be Average and 10X Rule were awesome books. Ed Milet, I really love Ed Milet. I mean, I soak in so much. Benjamin Hardy, Darren Hardy, you know, those are all really, really great. So I think I've taken a lot from a lot of people for sure. But some of my favorites right now, Coach Michael Burt is one of my coaches. Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, absolutely love it for sure. Can you email us a recording of the meet? Yeah, Serenity, if you shoot me an email again at rob@robstein.com, I'll send it out to you. I think I got to the end of the questions. Let me check the chat. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, gang, if you're still here, if you're still here from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. Again, my goal is to just help. I just want to help y'all. And if I've been able to help you get through this, that's awesome. If you think this has been beneficial, I'd love to come out to your program. I'd love you to let your directors know about it. I just wish y'all nothing but the best. And we will be doing this again soon. Okay. God bless y'all. Have a great end of the school year. I'm here for you. And check out my YouTube channel at robstein.tv if you need a little extra bump. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, I'm loving it. Gang, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And I thank you. Thank you so much. Marching band is the best sport in the world, isn't it? I love it. All right, gang, go keep crushing it. Have a wonderful rest of your school year. And we'll talk real soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.